Hi, this is Faizan from Bizistech. Today we are going to have a discussion on the important topic which is Amazon private label versus Amazon wholesale business model. Both business models are very important, and nowadays people are having conversations on these models, either which you choose and which is best for them. So in our discussion we're going to cover details of both business models, the opportunities and risk in those business models, importance of buy box, which factors are important to win the buy box, and the risk factors, also recommendation from our team. Today we have Zain and Zuleha from Bizistech. They both are expert in these lines, so we are going to have a discussion with them and getting their views on them. So let's continue with them. Hi Zain, how are you?
I'm good. What about you?
I'm good, thank you so much for asking.
Welcome.
Hi Zuleha, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm good, thank you so much for asking. I hope you both are ready to discuss about these both business models.
Yeah, ready and excited.
That's great, that's great. So then, would you like to give the overview of Amazon wholesale business model versus Amazon private label business model?
First of all, thanks Vedant for inviting me in such a wonderful and informative discussion.
Sure.
So, if we talk about Amazon wholesale and Amazon private label, these two business models are there for long-term business. If you start business in Amazon wholesale and Amazon private label, your business lasts for years and years to come. If we talk about in percentage, 67% of the sellers on Amazon are using Amazon private label as a business model in the whole platform. And in contrast, 26% of the sellers are using Amazon wholesale as their business model on Amazon. And there are some numbers in between who are using both Amazon wholesale and Amazon private label, both, but the numbers are very few. So if we talk about Amazon private label, how we do in Amazon private label, we launch a product under our own brand name, we sell that product under our own brand name. We just put our own branding twist on that product, and that's our private label product. So that's what we do in private label product. And if you talk about in depth that what's private label product, in private label product nowadays people will find suppliers online. There are lots of platforms. If you talk about they are like Alibaba, and there are other global, even global sources is a platform where you can source. Yeah, you can source product from there. So go find some supplier there and negotiate for the best price. And after that, you find a good supplier. You just order that inventory from that supplier. And what you do with that product, you just sold that product under your brand name. You just put your logo or your brand name on that product or the packaging of that product. So that's then your private label product. So what happened in that scenario, that it's your brand name, it's your brand name, so you have total control over your product. You don't have to ask, you don't have to get anyone's permission to sell that product on Amazon. Now it's your product, you are the brand owner of that product. And let's take example for a toothbrush. If you want to sell a toothbrush as a private label, you just pick toothbrush and pick up supplier online and just order that inventory from the supplier and just put your brand name on the packaging or the toothbrush, whatever. You just sell that product, and it's your product, it's your private label, it's your individual property. You can sell that product. That would be called a private label business model. And in contrast, if you talk about wholesale, previously well established and well structured brands that used to resell their product, just find a good brand on Amazon. There are lots of, if I take an example, if I've chosen the example of toothbrush, we can take example here. A brand, a well recognized brand, Oral-B, you would definitely know about that. It's a good brand outside Amazon as well. So just choose that brand, ask for the permission that we want to resell your product under your brand name. Okay. So if that product, that brand allows you to sell their product, you can resell their product under their brand name, under their list. So you don't have to even create your listing. You just use their trusted customers. They have put tons of money on marketing. Everything is done by them. We just have to resell their product. So that's what happened in private label and wholesale. And in wholesale, as we talk about the private label, that we don't have to take anyone's permission in private label. But in wholesale, we have to take the permission of the brand. So that's the difference between Amazon private label and Amazon wholesale. And one more thing is that when you directly source a white label product from the supplier in private label, you can get profit margin from selling that product to your customers. But in contrast, if you talk about wholesale, you get the product from a supplier. Maybe that supplier or that brand gets his own profit by selling that inventory to you. So that's the difference between the wholesale and private label.
That can be a different agreement between them, you and that brand, and how they're gonna.
Yeah, because they also can get the profit from you as well.
Got it. got it. That's great. That's great. So Zaleha, as Zen have mentioned the overview of both business models, I can see that there will be some risk and opportunities in both business models. Would you like to discuss on that? What opportunities and risk we do have in those business models?
Okay, thank you so much first of all for providing me the opportunity to explain this. Yeah, as you know, there is always a risk behind every
Yeah.
opportunity. So especially if you are doing an online business.
Mhm.
So in Amazon, in both models, there is also an opportunity and risk involved. So let's talk with the private label. In private label, if you talk, you are the brand and you can influence the product detail page and image and so on. But in private label, you have more control on your product. You can choose how you can differentiate your product from your seller. You are complete control on your branding element as well. You are liable for your product and brand that you want to sell. But if your brand is not well received, this will affect your sales and profit as well. For as a private label seller, you have to face a lot of problems. The big issue that you have to find a good product. So because finding a good product is not easy, because all your business and your investment is depend on product that you want to sell and you want to start your business. So you may find a good product, profitable and unsaturated product, but after that you have to manufacture that product. And if you are not the manufacturer of that product, you have to find a good supplier for that. So finding a good manufacturer who produce the product for you with good quality and according to your budget, it's very difficult for you as a seller of the private label. So after that, finding a good supplier, you have to build your brand in private label. So building a brand is not easy. You have to spend a lot of money to build your brand. So for brand growth, you have to keep an eye your daily action and momentum for your brand growth. But on the other hand side, Amazon also provide the opportunity that if you are brand registered on Amazon provided some feature and opportunity that as a private label seller, you can earn a high profit margin if you are a private label seller. In this way that you can differentiate your product from your other competitor, you can customize your product and all the things that compete the whole market. So you can earn the high profit margin. And on the other hand side, Amazon also provide the opportunity that you can customize your product detail page, so which will help you to achieve the higher visibility. In Amazon private label seller, Amazon gives you the opportunity that you can protect your brand from others. You can claim if anyone copy your product or copy your product detail page, you can claim to the Amazon. So you don't need to worry that anyone can copy your product and copy your product detail page. You can claim. So you can say in Amazon Seller Center your brand is protected. So on the other hand side, if we talk about the opportunity, Amazon also provide the opportunity that you can own the buy box. So in this way you have the complete control of your product. But if your brand is registered and you want to expand your business, you can expand your business. You can add the more products and goods in your product line to expand your business and in order to win the market. But if we compare the private label side to the wholesale, in wholesale you have high competition in sense that you are selling an existing brand with same product and same brand name, and there are a lot of sellers who are selling the same product and same brand name, so the competition will be high. But if we compare the competition of wholesale with the private label, in private label you have to compete the once in sense that you have compete only those sellers who are selling the same product but their own brand name with their own listing. But in wholesale you have to compete the double in sense that you have to compete those sellers who are selling the same brand and same product, but first you have to compete them, and after competing them you have to compete those sellers who are selling the same product with their brand name and with their own listing. So competition will be double in wholesale. But if you compare this to the private label and wholesale, in wholesale you have low risk in sense that you don't need to build your brand from scratch, because existing brand already have invested a lot of money in their brand building, so you don't need to build your brand. So it's less barrier to entry in wholesale, because you just have to take permission from those specific seller and you have to sell those products. So yeah, it's easy to start as a wholesaler. You just find a good supplier who allow you that you can sell their product on as a wholesale. So in last but not the least, in wholesale it's less time intensive and it's easier to scale as compared to the private label seller.
That's great, Leha. You have explained a lot of good things, the risks as well, the opportunities as well. But in short, the conclusion, which is a very important and main thing from all the scenario, what I can see is high risk, high profit, low risk, low margins. So that is a big difference in both business models. And definitely, when you have the high risk, there is high margin as well.
Obviously.
That's great. Okay, Zan. As we have discussed in depth about wholesale and private label, so would you like to tell me the workflow of both business model?
As Mr. Lai has explained really well that what's the difference between private label and wholesale. Like he has explained that in private label you have to build brand by scratch from zero. You don't have anything. You have to put all the effort by yourself. So that's the main difference between wholesale and private label. So if you talk about private label, let me discuss some our workflow of the private label business model. The steps we follow when we launch our products from the start. So what we do from the start is, first of all, we have to find a profitable product. For that we have to do product research, and there are some criteria that if your product fulfills that criteria, you can launch that product. And if you don't get help from an expert who is already in the field, because this is not like this is right to say that your product is the backbone of your business model. If your product is that, you can have benefit from that product for years. So finding a good product is so important that first of all you have to put effort in finding that right product, and after that you have to find some supplies online. As I've told you that.
Would you like to explain here which tools do you use to find a product?
There are lots of like Helium, General Scout, and lots of other viral launch. So that's first tell us the stats of the market, that how that product goes in the market right now, it's trendy or not. We have to check all these because the criteria include lots of things. If we're gonna explain that, that takes so much longer.
That's gonna be different topic. But these are the tools that are available in the market. You can check the stats by using these tools, and after that you can make the analysis by your own experience, and then decide which product is good to go.
These are the tools that helps you to that checks your product. Okay, is it good to go for the market or not? Because the most important thing is that your product is trendy or not. So that's how you have to check.
Great.
So after that, if you find a good product, you have to find a good supplier, and you just go online, find some supplier. There are lots of on Alibaba, mostly from China, from Asia. So after finding a supplier, just put your own brand logo on that product, and because you want to do private label product, so put your own branding to the product, and that will be your product. That then after that thing, what you have to do is you have to create a detail page of the product in such a way that the customer feel attraction towards your product. Because only thing customers have your picture. They don't have the physical product they want to see. They only have the picture. So design the picture in such a way that that attracts the customer. So after that picture, after that you have to work on content, because the content in two aspects. One in you would say ranking and indexing, and other to grab the attention to persuade the customers as well, because you have to tell them the feature, you have to tell them the quality of the product. So write a content in such a way that it will persuade your customer that your product is the best choice for them to buy. So that helps them to make the decision that they're going to buy your product or not. So after all these things, when your product is live on Amazon, then the real thing came, that you have to put lots of efforts on advertisement, lots of effort on branding, and lots of efforts on you would say marketing as well. So that's the steps we follow when we launch a private label product. We have to put everything. We are responsible for everything. As Ma'am Zulaiha explained that we have to do branding, we have to build customer trust, we have to do everything because it's our brand. So launching your very own branded product on Amazon is so lucrative. It's so profitable product that in private label, as I explained that regarding wholesale and private label, both has in wholesale you have lower profit margin, and in private label you have higher profit margin, because you directly source a white label product from the manufacturer and sold it to the customer. So that's the steps we follow when we launch a product in private label. And there are some risks, and as you explained that it's high risk and high reward. Obviously, when they are reward, there are risks as well. And if you talk about high risk or private label, you have to do branding, you have to create customer awareness, you have to do everything by your own, and you have to even put a lot of money on marketing as well. And if the things doesn't go right, you can lose your money. So and one other thing, that your brand is not pre-built. You have to build your brand from scratch. And if you talk about the rewards, as a private label seller, as a brand owner, you have total control over your product. You can change the product. You can improve the quality of the product, and like you have control overall operations of the product. So if we talk about these things in wholesale, what we do in wholesale, that we use pre-built it.
I think before moving towards the wholesale, I would like to add some point here. Might be it's not more relevant, but some people who are new, they don't know about the deep system, so might be they are confused. As you have mentioned about the sourcing, we source from China, and then the next we're not gonna go in detail about FBM and FBA. But the thing is, after creating a listing and putting a content into the listing, you have to create a shipment. Then
there are lots of things.
Give that to the supplier, then ship directly China to the design country.
From that.
And now the next game is start. You have to do the marketing.
There are lots of, like, if you have skipped that branding as well, you have skipped the brand. You would say registration as well. So if
that will be another topic. But just for info, like somebody know how we're gonna ship.
That's how we do the things.
Okay. No, please let's go towards the wholesale.
If talk in wholesale, what we do, we use pre-built it, well-established brand on Amazon. We just have to take their permission and start reselling their product. What happens is that if you talk about in private label, it's time-taking process, because all those things takes time. You have to build your brand, you have to build customer trust. So these things, there is no instant gratification in private label. You have to wait for all those things to be happen. But in wholesale, what it's like an instant thing, because you just have to resell their product which is already pre-built it listing. You have to just go under their listing. You use their customers. So the difference between both work is that in wholesale you just order from a manufacturer, from a brand owner, and from a supplier. You just sell their product. You don't have to wait that much longer for profit as we wait in private label. So that's the difference between the workflow of wholesale and the workflow of private label products.
Got it. That's great. So Zulaiha, now come towards your side. Would you like to tell us what is buy box and importance of buy box in post-business model?
Okay, so if you talk about the buy box, so buy box is the white box right side on the product detail page, where customer can add the items in for the purchase to their cart. But one important thing, that not all sellers are eligible for the buy box. So to stay in game, to understand the in and out of the Amazon buy box is very important for the competitive third-party sellers, because it's directly impact on the sales, and every seller are fighting for the sale. So to get the maximum number of sales, the buy box is very important, because when customer buy the product through this section on the right side of the product detail page, it's only those sellers are shown that have that win the buy box. So although there are a lot of number of sellers who have a good rank on Amazon, but at that time who win the buy box will get the maximum number of sales. And buy box also rotate every minute. Amazon also promised to the buyer that he will provide the best quality and best value for their money. So only those sellers who compete and who meet the standard of the Amazon will win the buy box and get the maximum number of sales.
Even I was reading an article which says that 83% of the sales are generated by buy box on Amazon. So that's a big number. If you don't have buy box, you have to worry about that. And not even just 83% of sales are generated by buy box. Even 80% of sales are generated through mobile apps, not on desktop. And let me explain one thing, that if you are shopping for mobile app, you don't have the option to see other sellers. So if you don't have buy box, or you don't even think about selling.
Or might be, I think it's a very technical thing that we people know about the buy box. The people who are gonna buy the product, or the shopper, they don't aware of that. They just know they have to click on the yellow button and to buy the product. So they are not aware of that, so they just open a mobile, they search the product, scroll, and then click on add to cart. So the order directly go to that seller who won the buy box.
Because at the moment, like if 80% of the sales generated to mobile apps, so there is no option in desktop. If you are shopping, there are option to see. You can see the sellers as well on the same listing, but on mobile app there is no such option. So the seller who has the buy box, he can generate the sales. And even Walmart announces that in 2021, 70% of their traffic has been generated through mobile apps. So e-commerce is pretty much converted to the mobile.
So as Mr. Zain explained that most of the buyer purchase the product through the mobile. So it's very important to know the buy box as a seller. You should know about the buy box. So because it's impact our sales. So if you compare the buy box in wholesale and private label, in private label you don't need to verify the buy box because you are only the seller and with brand name that you compete the market unless you won't allow another sellers to sell your product with your same brand name.
Or someone hijack your listing.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's the
that's
scenario. Yeah.
So you just have to, you are just going to compete the big market with your dominant brand name. You don't use the same, you don't allow another seller to sell your brand as we do in the wholesale. So you don't need to verify the buy box. But in wholesale, as you are, as you know, there are a lot of sellers who are selling the same brand with same product name. So you have to compete in wholesale to retain the buy box. But the question is there, if there are a lot of sellers who are selling the same brand with same product, who will win the sales? Who will get the maximum number of sales? So only those sellers who have win the buy box at that time, when buyer or customer can, you can say that purchase the product will win the maximum number of sales. But the one more important thing that the buy box fluctuate every minute. Even to say that every minute is big time, you can say it would be better to say that buy box rotate in every second. So to get the maximum number of sales, the buy box is very important to understand the in and out of the buy box for the private label and wholesale.
That's great. That's great. So then, would you like to tell me there are different factors that are involved to get the buy box? There are a lot of things. It's very crucial to win the buy box, as I have explained. So, would you like to explain which factors that are involved to get the buy box?
Obviously, Amazon has no, it's not official, but the sellers have experienced themselves that there are lots of factors which affects, which can enhance the chances to win buy box. So let me name some. You would say landing price of the product, fulfillment method, because that varies, because obviously there are two fulfillment methods, FB and Prime as well. So obviously I'm going to prefer with the which seller provide the faster delivery, and obviously your feedback count, your feedback ratings, and your negative customer experience that matters in private label products as well, because obviously everything depends on your account health. If your account health is better, then you enhance your chance to win buy box. So another thing is your stock availability, your customer support as well, and your stress listing. That's also pretty much matter in private label product. So let me explain first the landed price of the product. So Amazon will prefer the seller who has a lower price than the average. Not too much. If you just lower your price too much, that's just spoiling the market. You just have to get your price a little lower than average. Let me give you an example that if you are selling a product at 22.9 and if other seller is there who is selling that on 23.9 and the same product, because we are doing in wholesale, obviously if you are talking about the buy box, then Amazon will prefer you because you have the lower price than the other seller. Amazon will see the easiness of the customers, who will provide the facility to customers more. So landed price varies from the lower you have done price, obviously you will enhance your chances to win the buy box.
But you don't think so? It will be a very hectic process to see the sellers. Like, let's suppose we both are a seller and we are in the buy box, so we are in fight with each other. So maybe your price is $19.99. So I'm gonna take my price to $19.90. So you have to keep an eye on the price as well. Maybe after some time you will down below, and then we are gonna fight all day with the pricing.
That's the most dangerous thing a wholesale can imagine, because you just fight with the price and lowering the price will cut down your profit margin as well. So because the only not the price factor matters, there are lots of other
factor as well. But I think now Amazon have the auto pricing method. You can just give the command, the higher one, the lowest one, so you don't have to do anything.
Because obviously if you are a wholesaler, then you definitely know what's the least profit I can generate from the price. You can set that.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
So if you talk about the landed price, let's talk about the other factor, which is fulfillment method. Amazon FBA itself is a trusted method, because obviously Amazon has the customer, they have trusted customers. But there is one more thing, is prime delivery is nowadays. And obviously if you are a prime delivery customer, you can get the item even the same day. So obviously I've explained that the Amazon will give the buy box to the seller who sees the facility to the customer. Obviously if you are doing you would say FB and the other seller is doing prime deliveries, and Amazon will prefer that seller over you, because obviously it sees the easiness. If that seller is facilitated the customer, but they will increase their chances to win the buy box. So that's about fulfillment method. And now move to the feedback count. Feedback count means that how many customers have given you the feedback. Obviously, the higher number of feedback you have, that means your account health is pretty good. So account health also matters by box factor. So after that feedback count, let's move to the feedback rating. Feedback rating means that obviously there are 5 ratings the customer can give you, and it depends on the quality and the shipment method as well. If you provide good quality product and good shipment as well, the customer obviously give you the high rating. So high the rating of your account is, obviously you will enhance your chances of winning the buy box. Obviously Amazon will prefer you over the other seller. And if you talk about the other thing, which is you would say negative customer experience, that thing matter in private label a lot, because that can, if your negative customer experience too high, that can even suppress your listing. That the other thing I was explaining about. And your negative customer experience will be higher, and it will automatically suppress your listing when your listing automatically closed. And closed, you doesn't have buy box. If your listing is almost closed and you can't even generate sale,
kick out from the buy box.
And another thing is stock availability, and that also depends on that correlated to each other. If you don't have stock, then obviously you can't sell. And on the other hand, if Amazon see that there are a seller who is very active, who doesn't even go out of stock in a year, then Amazon will prefer him because his selling is still almost high. So all these factors enhance the chances of winning buy box. You can't even say that, okay, if I just lower my price and just you choose for prime method, then I'm gonna win the buy box. Definitely no, because let's take example that if you have lowering your price as well, if you have choose that fulfillment method as prime, but maybe there is possible that the other seller who is fulfilling 3 to 4 other factors as well. So that's the universal rule which you have to follow to enhance the chances to win the buy box.
Just Amazon have given the command to the algorithm, and it's algorithm work. He will check everything and then assign the buy box to the person who gonna have much weightage on these things.
Because who will calculate more the customer, he'll win the buy box.
Okay, so Leha, would you like to tell me which important factor you will consider while choosing Amazon business model?
So there is a lot of factors that we should keep in mind while choosing the business model, but I think the most important factor according to me is brand recognition and investment. If we let's talk with the private label. If we talk about the private label, as you know, you are start from new. You have to start. You have to build your brand. So you have to control your product. But launching a branded new product is simply too new for you. But the main problem is that you don't have an existing customer and you don't have any brand recognition if you are selling as a private label. So for building a brand and for brand awareness, you have to spend a lot of money in your marketing. You have to spend in PPC and outside the marketing strategy you have to use for the private label for brand awareness. And another issue is that overall trust. If you are new, no one will trust on you and your product because you are new for the customer, and customer are unfamiliar with your brand and the quality of your product that you want to sell. So as a private label seller, you have to face this issue because you have to build your brand from scratch, and it takes time to build your brand. So if you are willing to take time and for a seller to build a brand, only those sellers who are willing to take time and put an effort to build the brand can win the market and can build the brand. So if you compare this to the wholesale, in wholesale, as you know, you are selling an existing brand with same product. So an existing brand already have a dominant customer who are willing to buy their product because they know the product quality and demand, and they will buy the product immediately. If you are selling an existing brand, and an existing brand already spend a lot of money for the marketing, so in wholesale you don't have to spend a lot of money to build your brand. So to expand your brand and to expand the business, you also need some investment. And if you talk about the investment in private label, you spend a lot of money and you need a investment in sense that first you have to buy the product, you have to manufacture the product. So for building a brand, it's not like that you can purchase a 200 units and 100 units and you can build a brand. No, it's not like that. You have to spend a lot of money for purchasing an inventory because it takes time to build a brand. So you have to spend a lot of money for buying a product that you want to sell, and after that you have to spend a lot of money in product detail page because no one know the quality. You can attract the customer by your product detail page. So you have to spend a lot of money to build a good product image because all the things that a customer can buy your product just show that you have to show the product that this is my product and this is the quality. So you have to spend a lot of money for product detail page to create an attractive EBC, and so after that you have to spend a lot of money for marketing, not only the inside of the Amazon but also the outside the Amazon. So you have to spend a lot of money in PPC. So and outside you have to use another websites and platform to build a brand and to get the sales. But in wholesale you need only a less number of investment, because you have to spend, you just need to buy the product and get the permission from the seller and buy the product and distribute this. So you don't need to spend a lot of money in investment for the PPC, because the brand already spend a lot of money for brand building. If you want to if you want to run the PPC to get the sale, you can run, but it's not a much impact on your sales because those those brands are already run the PPC. So investment, you don't require a lot of investment in the wholesale. So this is the most important factor I think that we need to consider for choosing any brand. So it's depend on our investment.
Got it. Okay, Zulaiha, would you like to share your recommendation on both business models?
Yeah, both business model is very good, but I must say that if you know the good marketing strategy and you know the and you understanding of the branding, so I would recommend you, and you have a good investment, so I would recommend you go with a private label. Use your own skill and give time to build a brand. So I would recommend to go with private label. But if you have less investment and you don't know and you don't have an experience of Amazon, so I would recommend that go with the wholesale. Learn how Amazon works, how to communicate with customer, and how to build your brand and how to create your store. So I will recommend to go with wholesale first, learn, and then go with the private label.
That's great. So then, would you like to share recommendation as well?
Obviously, if you talk about which business model, I will recommend between wholesale and private label. That depends on the vision of the seller as well, and I have explained that there is a lot to do with the sellers as well. What's the seller view like? If you talk about me, let me put some numbers in. Amazon itself is selling 12 million items on the platform. That's a big number. And if you talk about overall, there are 350 million items on the platform which the sellers have listed.
Yeah.
So there are two ways to see a thing, that if you just see that okay, there are 350 million items on the stock, then how will I make my place there? Then you can't. And if you think about okay, there are 350 million items, and obviously there would be sellers, there would be buyers as well. So definitely I should also go to the market. So if you ask me, what's my vision is that in private label, I would recommend private label, because what I love about private label is that you have all the control over your product in contrast to wholesale. You have control to your product line. You can amend your product. You can you would say improve the quality of the product. Whatever you want to do, you can do that with the product. And one more thing is that if you successfully build your brand, then that's a future asset for you. You can build asset through that brand. You can flip it anytime. Like if you have successfully built a brand,
Long time investment.
yes, if you have built a brand, you just it's an asset for you. You can flip it anytime and can get the money immediately. So that's the benefits of private label. On the other hand, the wholesale business model isn't so bad. Like if you want to do side hustle, you can go for wholesale business model. But if you do want to do business on mainstream business, you should go for private label, because private label is something you need attention. As Bizistech has explained that you have to do everything by your own, branding, forms of everything. So it's a mainstream business. You should keep an eye on constantly on private label if you just go for private label business model.
So in nutshell, we can say that if you do have the good investment and you know about Amazon, so you either have a good team, so you have to go for private
Obviously,
label.
investment matters a lot.
Yeah, and if you have less investment, you don't know how the process works, then so go for the wholesale, learn the process, have the investment, and then
That's the safest way.
private label. That's great. So thank you so much, Zain and Zulaiha, for your time. I think we have covered a lot of information in our topic. So I hope the audience like that. So thank you so much for watching as well. We have covered a lot of information about both business model. If you do have any kind of question, please ask in the comment section. We will be happy to answer all of your questions. So thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye bye.